This is Conversations with Mike Sparks.
Are you concerned with the state of America, your state, your community? Then you're in the right place. State Representative Mike Sparks. He and guests are here to talk about local politics, history, faith, and freedom.
All right, you're listening to Conversation with Mike Sparks. I'm your host, Mike Sparks. Busy day today. Nice day out there, wasn't it, Roger?
Oh, yes. Great day yesterday for a car show, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, you had a car show, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I did, and the Mid-10 Hot Rodders did.
Well, you
and,
helped, didn't you?
Oh, there was a car
Well,
show?
no, I was and I walked it yesterday. My good buddy Carl Boyd, we walked around, and anyway, did a great job. I had a little over 100 cars there, and I think 76 registered for the prizes, and they've already up to around 1,600 members. That's
Wow.
yes, right at 1,600. But anyway, shout out to the Christy, Mike, Danny, David, Chris, and all the gang, at the Mid-10. They put on a great show. And like I said, Eric for being a judge. With
Eric Ritchie, yeah.
Yeah,
Who
well,
else were judges?
Well, JP, or James Wall. I called him
Okay.
JP. And they were judges. Eric, I think he didn't there's going to be that many cars, did he?
Oh, there's a lot of cars. And shout out to Steak and Shake for hosting them.
Oh, yeah, they did a great job.
Really,
They really did.
Really nice of them to do that.
Which one was that at? The one on Nissan?
Yeah, Nissan Drive, yeah. And they have the big one at Sam Davis' home in September.
Yeah.
And they had
Well,
it's a
technically,
giant one.
Sarge Asbury Hahn Way.
Yeah.
I mean, technically.
Oh, yeah.
That's my buddy got killed in Iraq, Greg. Yeah, Freddie lost his life. But I appreciate Steak and Shake, appreciate Mid-10 Hot Rodders for all they do. Connor, how's things going?
Good, I'm on spring break.
He's smart, Alec. I'm always asking when he graduated. How's school? He graduated, what, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years ago?
Like one of our
He says-
longest running jokes.
That's a good comeback, though. He's on spring break. But, Roger, there's a couple other things you want to get out there before we go into our guests.
Well, I don't know if these make you wait a little while longer if you want to get your guest on tonight.
Okay. Well, I want to give a shout out. I got asked to, and Roger's going to say something. I know it's kind of funny. My Indian friends, my Hindu friends, they invited me out to an event out at the Parthenon out there at Centennial Park. Bobby, president of India Association Nashville, and another beautiful lady, and it's called the Holy Event. It's a celebration of light and colors, and man, they threw all this dye all over me, Craig, all this like chalk
saw that.
colors and stuff. It was when I pulled up, I seen this guy with all this chalk over him, and he was on the camera, and I thought, who is that nut? Nut over there. And look, I asked her, I said, what should I wear? Thank God I didn't wear no suit.
Tie-dyed shirt, probably.
Man, my wife, I come walking in the house, and what's sad, I went to Haviland to get my oil change, and I had this blue and orange dye all on my face, and these guys were looking at me in the truck beside me, and I was like, do I say something? People were staring at me, and my wife goes, you go get the oil change and with all that on? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, that shirt ain't going to clean up. But they're such sweet people, and there's about 600. That's my eighth Indian event I spoke at.
Yeah, the one lady was on the show one night. I noticed her.
Bobby?
She didn't have it much on her. The other lady was covered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just they're such sweet people. They're so welcoming, and they just appreciate folks showing up, and it's kind of odd sometimes. Some of the areas that I get invited to. I'm gonna be speaking to the Q Dogs next month. You know who the Q Dogs are?
Yeah, but didn't you get some kind of award from them?
No, that was Alphas.
Okay.
That was Alphas. You know who the Q Dogs are?
I do.
You know the ones that bark.
I'm aware of them.
Well, Marvin, my former assistant, he's out of Memphis, African American. I've been practicing the bark. He goes, man, dude, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And anyways, it's April the 2nd. And man, it's just, it's just pretty cool, when somebody you're kind of out of your comfort zone, but you're somewhere that people make you feel comfortable. And I'm surprised Roger didn't share this, because we had this, Marty Loveman had this event last year. It is funny. I'm going to share it. I'm going to get in trouble probably. I hope Bart's not listening, or Brian. But we were there, and Marty had this little thing for me. It was my wife and I's 36th anniversary, and he's got his caregivers there. They're Indian, Hindu. And a friend of ours, I won't say his name on the radio, and he says somehow he says something like, yeah, it's sad that America took your land. And I was like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? And I looked over at Marty. Marty goes, no, man, it's wrong Indians, man. And I was like, oh, my gosh.
I need to do a disclaimer right
well,
now. I do not agree with everything Mike Sparks says.
I affiliate myself with this show. But, you know, Septon and Rocky, they're such loving people. And Marty, they're like family to Marty. You know, he went to hospital here. Well, he's been there twice. And, you know, almost died in Vanderbilt. And I said, dude, you're so fortunate to have such loving caregivers that are right there. She called me. Well, she called me both times, and she, you know, he passed out. And I said, man, just get the ambulance over there. But just such loving people.
I saw where he's in an event last night, so he's probably
that what was it called?
Spaghetti dinner.
Yeah, I seen you there. You know,
Yep.
good crowd. You good enough to eat?
I don't touch it.
You don't touch spaghetti.
Too busy
carbs?
talking.
Oh, you're too busy.
Yeah, just trying to go around
Nah,
meet
you're right.
everybody and
You're right.
seen you eating, though, like a lot.
Let's knock it out, brother.
Did he get it to go plate
Hey, I
too?
spent $10. I'm gonna get my
Probably
money's
did.
worth. I got it to go plate. Brought it home to my son and my wife. Hey, I'm taking it to go,
See?
brother.
No, them are not.
I'm taking it to go. Well, I always tell my interns and my assistants, I said, you know, if you're ever at an event, you know, like there's a lot of receptions, and you know, if there's like a water or you know a little pack of honey, you know, carry it with you because you may need it later. Hey, it adds
Now,
up.
I seen you up there, man, and we didn't really talk too much.
Well, you came by. I appreciate it. I was
Yeah,
over.
I mean, he had a shirt on, you know,
did.
like two buttons undone with a medallion.
Just been a bit. Yeah.
my little
that's-
wrapper, emblem on, a Q dog wrapper.
Oh my gosh.
No, but y'all all made your rounds, and it was a good crowd. And shout out to Laverne Mayor Jason Cole and Steve Noe and others that put that together. You know, I'm glad Tony Campbell brought Marty over there, and I think Judge Brittany Stevens came. Robert was there, Stevens, and but
I
it
mean,
was
there's a lot of candidates and there are people there,
There
you know.
people I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I never heard their names or anything.
There's two or three that introduced themselves to me. I thought I knew everybody.
Some guy running for
Congress.
or something. He's sick. I mean
Never heard that. Never heard
anyways,
that.
I was just tripping, you know, like, anyways, to each his own, I guess.
To
you know?
each his own, yep.
I mean, but hey, you know, it's free country.
I mean, you know, it takes a lot of courage to run, you know? I mean, you know,
Yes.
like I've been a commissioner for 8 years and I'm running in a very hotly contested race.
you think?
Yeah.
You think?
And I mean, you know, my family didn't, you know, they didn't sign up for this. This is me. And, you know, we'll talk about the opioid and why I do all what I
Yeah.
do, but it's pretty tough sometimes. You know, some people can be just absolutely just brutal.
I see.
I
it,
mean,
man.
brutal, you know, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like you want to get on there and respond to every single one. You're like, I can't do that, you know. I mean, I'm not going to put. Just think about it. If I won in a landslide in a general election, 40% of the people are Democrats. They're not going to vote for me anyway.
Yeah, they're not.
So, you know, you look at it, more than half of the people ain't going to like you no matter what you do. So,
Yeah. Well, I remember.
He used to tell me. That's the thing. What he used to tell me all the time.
Well, I remember it was I seen
Coach Rakes,
Mr. Rakes, Coach Rakes, in my principal years ago, and I'd won my county commission race, and my wife sent me to Food Line to get a gallon of milk the next morning, and went into Food Line, and Mr. Rakes sent me. He said, "Congratulations, Mike." He wasn't in my district. He said, "Congratulations, Mike," and he said, "Mike, remember this," and it was the best words of wisdom. He said, "Mike, remember this." He said, "Half people gonna like you, other half ain't gonna like you." He said, "My dad was a county commissioner." He said, "I watched what my dad went through, and I never wanted nothing to do with it." You know,
It's tough. I mean,
yeah.
you know, it's a thankless job, and you know, politics isn't about service. I mean, leadership ain't
Yeah.
about politics; it's about service.
yeah,
And you know, a lot of people don't realize that. Like, you know, people say crazy things like, you know, you're wanting power, you wanting a paycheck. I'm taking a pay cut,
Yeah.
taking a mayor's job, and then I'm adding another 60 hours to my life, and
yeah.
you know.
Oh, you're gonna be busy, brother.
Yeah, and I
you're
mean,
already busy.
that's got nothing to do with power or money. That's got to do with service, and
Yeah.
I'm willing to do that sacrifice, you know, for the county, and that's one of the reasons I'm running.
Yeah.
But it's my time, you know. I feel like, you know, Bill Ketron, you know him real
Yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah.
and you know, Bill ran for mayor in 2018. I ran for commission, and then, you know, I told him I'm going to run for mayor in 8 years. I'm going to learn how to do this every single thing, which I have, and I decided to run. Because
I
everybody
like
thinks I'm
Bill.
running because of Joe and all this stuff. No, I'm running because I planned this 8 years ago.
Well, if I may not introduce you properly, we're listening to Craig Harris, chairman of Steering,
Yep.
and you've been on there, you said, for 8 years now. Mm-hmm. And give us a background, your bio, where you're from and grew up. what
Well, I
school?
grew up in Memphis.
Okay.
So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Okay.
grew up in Memphis, and then I went and played football and never came home.
Yeah.
You know, I stayed there for 4 years and graduated and took a job. You know how when you get out of college, you take all those crazy jobs, and it wasn't going nowhere. And then I had graduated with a degree in finance and accounting, so I was really wanting to do my own thing, and I would listen to everybody, man. I mean, everybody.
Yeah.
And finally, I went for it, and I started a company, and I've been CEO for that company for 30 years.
Yes.
So-
you like what you do?
I do.
What do you like about it?
Well, the biggest thing is I started it for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, and then if you can ever put your mind, if a boss can ever put in his mind that your actions and what you do and your decisions affect people, like whether they eat or whether
Yeah.
they can pay their bills, your decisions matter. And I love that challenge.
Yeah.
And I love it when, you know, like I said in a speech, you know, I done steered this company through inflation, stagflation, marketing trends, recessions,
Yeah.
COVID.
So you were
we're still
operating during
strong.
the 08, 09, 2010, 11 recession.
Hey, if that tells you anything,
That was rough.
If this company survives that, then we're a top
Yeah.
company.
Man,
And we've
that's-
been one of the biggest companies for, you know, in the drywall industry, you know, going on probably 15, 20 years.
But don't you think those tough times is what taught you the most?
Yeah, it was my best management. I mean,
Really?
it was
Yeah.
it tested me, you know, to the core, you know, because I went from, I don't know, around 117 people down to 23,
Yeah.
and I mean, and just, you know, heartbreaking.
Did you lose?
You know,
like,
but if you cut the head off, the body dies.
did you
And
ever
so,
get so tore up like you lost weight, your stomach's like
Oh.
growling and
You know, it's you know, like when you have that many people, some of them are not you don't have a relationship with. You know, they workers you don't have much interaction. But when I got to the core, yeah, it was very hard on them as well as me and my family.
Well, speaking of family, you're a beautiful wife, and how
Beautiful
many
wife.
kids you have?
I have Susie has been with me. We've been together since 01. I got a daughter Reagan and a son Trey and another son Seth.
Yeah,
And Seth goes to Swanee. He's up there, and then Trey works for my company. He'll take it over.
yeah. The how old are they?
Trey's 22, Reagan's 30, and Seth's 20.
They grow up fast, don't they?
Man, you know, yeah. I mean, I have never really thought about age until recently. You know, like I'm going to be 60 in July, and I never really thought about it. You know, I always felt like I was, you know, Superman, but
You don't have grandkids or nothing yet,
None.
do you?
Yeah,
None
you'll-
that you know of. Huh?
That'll really change. Your life will really change when you get
Yeah.
grandkids. Yeah, we
does.
talk about it all the time.
oh,
And
well, yeah.
it does change you. It does something to your head, man. You just
Yeah.
look at life totally different.
Well, it's a new beginning. You know, you know the thing I loved about our kids is we used to go to Universal Park in Orlando.
Oh yeah.
Bunch of times because I was homeless when I was 17, and I never had any. My parents were never involved in my life, and I never got to experience things like a amusement park or stuff
yeah.
that people take for granted. So when I got older and had kids and money, I went just as much as they went. You know, I mean, we go 3 or 4 times a year, and they don't like that no more. You know, they don't want to go. I'd go right now. You know, but
which one's your favorite park to go to?
Universal.
Is it?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And they don't want to go anymore, and so when the grandkids get here,
Oh yeah, there you go.
then I have an all reason
going
to
to-
go again.
You going again?
Yeah, yeah. The well, I know you're pretty passionate, and the way we set this up, Roger and I, we were discussing having the candidates on and having the sheriff's candidates on. This was convenient for you. I think Randy Allen's coming on when.
He's coming on the week before what's it, the 14th or 12th? That's Sunday. I have to
Oh,
look it
okay,
up.
and then Joe's coming on the
that's
next
prior to
couple
for
weeks.
the what is that voting?
Early voting.
Yeah,
voting,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
well,
what it-
obviously we got to get him before
Yeah, we
that.
got him in, but he did the last. He's listed the last day, so he's,
But we didn't go alphabetical or anything. And the sheriff's candidates, I don't even know if we've got to reach out to them yet.
No, not yet. But
So if they're
and like,
listening,
and like
just
it
let us
says,
know.
though, man, like I said, I know of you, I don't know you, but I know all the sheriff candidates, and I knew Randy and Joe and yourself, and
So 3 of y'all
Mike.
running, right?
Yeah.
Just 3.
that's like Mike. You like all
and
the
no
guys,
independent, no Democrat.
No, this winner take all.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, no, there won't be. I mean, there'll be a general, but just there's no, candidates.
Yeah.
Just be the Republican primary,
Yeah. Yeah.
Republican nominee.
Well, one of the you enjoy serving as chairman of steering.
Yeah, I mean, not. It's very rare that a first-year commissioner becomes a chairman of steering. I mean, steering's
Oh, yeah.
real important in budget. I'm on both, but yeah, I think we've done some really good things, and the commissioners believe in me. I had the support of the commission. I mean, the commission in the mayor's office right now is pretty bad, Mike. I mean,
Yeah.
there's, you see it in the paper all the time, and probably one of the biggest things I want to do is mend that fence.
Yeah.
And I had the respect and the, you're probably 2/3 of the commission's behind me, but Joe's an incumbent, and that carries a lot of weight. And,
Yeah.
And Randy, he's I think this is his 3rd time running, so he's been experienced in mayor candidate. So, we know we got an uphill battle, but we're going to definitely give our best.
Well, I think most people. I know for me, I see a lot of. I call it butthurt. A lot of in whether it's county, whether it's school board, whether it's state general assembly. I had a bill up this week, my school bus bill. I passed it.
And you got very upset, and I've seen that.
Well, we're the most restrictive in the world. I mean, I can't make this stuff up, folks. This is why I get frustrated. And I try not to use bad words on the radio, but man, this is our life. This is our kids. This is the next generation. Kids being left at bus stops. I mean, this is really happening. And so I passed it, but I told our press secretary, I said, "Watch this. I said, I'm going to get Justin Pearson to vote with me." And Justin's one out of Memphis, run for Congress.
Yeah.
And but I get along with him. I went over and said, "Hey man, I need your help." He's on transportation. It was 2 Democrats and both chairmen. I'm undoing both their bills. It was the chairman of full and sub that passed the bill years ago, making it the most restrictive in the world to drive a school bus. It could be 20, 25. And I tried to go 21. I thought, well, I'll amend it to 23. So I had 2 Democrats, probably was against it, and then another guy on the committee, his wife didn't want to vote for it. So I had 2 chairmen. So I was like, man, so I went to Pearson. I said, "Hey, man, I need your support." I said, I got both chairmen against me. I got Homeland Security against me. I got THP against me. But I got the president of NAACP, David Settle, showed up and helped me. It was, God works in some mysterious ways, man.
Yeah.
And what I like about what David said, David's on the school board, and God will use the most unlikely people sometimes to help you. And, I'd done an interview with Channel 2 on the school bus thing, and I was leaving, and I think I shared this with Roger, and I knew I got invited to the NAACP breakfast last year. So I called David. Hey, I said, "Hey, I'll go." So you want to come on the radio? We'll promote it the next day. I had the show to Brian. He said, "What time?" I said, "Well, just be at the station like 10:20. He said, "Oh, good. That'll give me time to finish my route." And I was like, "Route? What are you talking about?" He said, "Man, I drive a school bus." I said, "Oh my gosh, you are
Talking
not."
about David Settles?
Yeah.
Yeah, David ran against me.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He ran against me, I think, in 2018.
Well, David, but that is so crazy that it's like God used the least likely person to come help me. But I like what David said. David said when he testified before a committee, because we passed it we passed it with Robert Stevens and Tim Rudd's help. We passed it last year, but it fell to the Senate by 1 vote. And here's what David said. I love what he said. He said, "I'm the first face a child sees in the morning. I'm the last face that child sees." He said, "I could either make their day or break their day." And David, I don't know how y'all's race was, but David and I think we're pretty close friends. He showed up at my chili cook-off at Sam Davis' home. But Pearson, by the way, voted with me. But I think I'll be okay. Well, I got to go to the full committee. I think we'll be okay this year.
What about Senate?
They already passed it, which helped me.
Really?
Yeah.
Then
They
you
passed
should be
it.
okay at the Senate.
Well, it's just so frustrating because it's, you see something, you're passionate about it, but you got to play well with others, man.
Man,
If you don't have the other votes, man.
I mean, it's so that's the essence of everything that's going wrong here. Is you got to be able to play well with others. You got 21 commissioners. I'm a chairman. You know what? You know how many extra votes I get for being chairman? None. I have 1 vote.
Yeah.
Every commissioner has 1 vote. So you got to find 11 votes to get something passed, right? So you got to be able to work well with others, and on your level, God, it's up to another.
It's frustrating.
That's crazy,
but
man.
because you and I were sharing out in the foyer. You're frustrated about there's good news, but it doesn't seem like it gets reported about opioid deaths going down. And I'll credit you with all your efforts to help with that and others that's involved. And I get upset with the media. They don't want to cover good news. I had my predatory lending bill trying to cap the interest rates at 36%. It's like 400% interest. And there's no lobbyists are helping me. In fact, the lobbyists are behind me. Go back and watch the video. You'll see the lobbyists behind me, probably looking at everybody they donated to.
Taxpayer lobbyists.
You know, to be like, no, these are high dollar. These are the most powerful lobbyists in the state of Tennessee is predatory lending.
Think how crazy that is. You just said cap it at 36%.
Yeah, and I feel guilty.
That's
even
highway
saying-
robbery to me. I mean, that's highway robbery.
But let me tell you, Phil Williams not going to cover this. You know why? Phil Williams in on the deal. You know why?
Why?
Because they're selling advertising. He ain't going to go kill the golden goose that's paying them big revenue with all those Title Max and advanced finance commercials.
I mean, I look at the state house. It's just, it's unbelievable. I'm tracking a bill right now. There's two bills I'm tracking. One is, and it's getting a lot of push, and I think it's going to affect Rutherford County, is the property tax cap.
Yeah, the cap.
And I think that's going to get through the House.
I think they've massaged that a little bit and worked with both.
They
both
have,
groups.
but it's still though you're taking power away from the county, and anytime you do that. But here's the way I look at it, Mike. If you're going to do something like that to drastically affect our ability to raise revenues, then you have to loosen up your belt and help us on things like a better portion of sales tax, or that archaic formula for gas tax.
Yeah.
Do you know Wayne County has 16,000 people? We have 400,000, and they're bigger than us landmass, and they have 150 miles less paved roads than we do, and they make more money on the gas tax than we do.
Really?
That's crazy.
I didn't know that.
I mean, that's crazy.
Well, that goes back to communication. That goes back to having meetings. I mean, we really don't meet with y'all like we should.
No, I think we should do, and that's one. If I'm mayor, we're going to have a better relationship.
Yeah.
A much better. Because I'm telling you something. People don't understand. The county is a subdivision of the state.
Yeah.
We're not a municipality. We are a subdivision, which means the state legislators got to pass a lot of the stuff.
Yeah.
For us to do. Why do you want to not have a relationship with them?
Yeah.
Why do you? And I tell commissioners this all the time. Why do you want to have an adversarial,
it doesn't
relationship
need to be
with
that way.
you got to have everybody.
Yeah.
So if I have a great idea and I don't have people like the state delegation helping me or the commissions, it's just an idea. That's all it'll ever be.
One thing, I think it was Calvin Coolidge or Ronald Reagan that said, if I can help, how's it go? A man can get more credit if he doesn't mind a man get more done if you don't mind who gets credit for it.
Oh, absolutely.
I had Jason Powell, Democrat, big old football player like you, and he's a great guy. He's Cane Ridge. He came to me about 2 years ago. Said, "Hey man, will you run this bill for me? Like I'm gonna be co-sponsor." And so I said, "Yeah, I'll run it." And he kept giving me credit. And I said, and at the podium, I said, "Look, it was an illegal street racing task force, and I said." This is Jason's idea. He just asked me to run it. He just knew to get it across the finish line, him being Democrat is probably not going to get it done. But it's like my bill. We've got a guy that's going to call in. I know you've got to leave a little early, but the guy that found his daughter who committed suicide, just months ago, I had him up this week, and but I had Democrats, Republicans stand with me. I mean, there's a couple of our leader, William Lambert. He got choked up. I looked over at him to see if he wanted to say a word or two. He's got a daughter. And his daughter was up of the day, and man, I seen him in committee this week, and I seen him with tears in his eyes. And William don't play around, man. But he's got, when it comes to mental health in those areas, man, I haven't lost anybody to suicide, but I've had friends that's lost people to suicide.
Our overdose deaths are way down, which I am so proud of. We got a ways to go, but our suicides have not dropped.
Yeah.
And, that's something that's really concerning to me. And me and you talked about mental illness. A lot of times with addiction and mental illness, it's diagnosed.
Yeah.
So they both have them. And those things kind of really go in together.
Yeah.
But suicides is really concerning to me. With social media, I'm probably getting off here a little bit, but I think social media is a huge impact.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, Mike, me and you're about the same age. If somebody wanted to call us
you're older
names,
than me. You're older than me.
Emma. Not by much, I know.
5 months, 6 months.
Oh,
But
okay.
you're still older.
But I look much better.
Okay. All right.
But it's social media is just it's brutal.
It is.
They can make you a star in 24 hours, and they can make you a pariah in 24 hours.
Yeah.
The
He's
same
got to stay
person.
off of it, man.
It's the same person, and
I've
then,
seen it happen.
I see people dog me on the internet, man, and I just sit there and I just go, okay, this is funny, but then I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes it's like, why am I even reading this stuff?
Yeah.
But it's all, people say lies and throw stuff up against the wall, see what sticks. And, it's frustrating. I know
Yeah.
you get it. I mean,
Oh, yeah, man.
Mike came into steering and he was talking about his bus driver thing.
Yeah.
And I believe in common sense is the best way to govern sometimes.
It's just common sense, brother.
But anyway, Mike got all fired up and mad. He got all mad. I called him up and said, Dan, settle down, and
No, I mean, I'm just.
he didn't want to talk to me because it's a joke.
I'm like, this is it's a no-brainer, folks. I don't have taxpayer-funded lobbyists help me. Hell, don't get me started, Craig. See, get me started. I said this last week. Your taxpayer-funded lobbyists are making more than your lawmakers are making. Something's wrong with that picture.
They make a whole lot more
So
than
here's
you.
what people will do. Like, well, why are you going to go serve your community for this pittance when I'll just become a taxpayer-funded lobbyist and make big money? I mean, that is throwing off what our forefathers fought and died for. I mean, my dad flew 24 bombing raids over Europe in a B-17 to fight for this country, only to see the BS that goes on today. A lot of it's BS, man. All these lobbyists up there, 330, that ain't counting taxpayer-funded lobbyists.
No,
I don't have none of them help me on my
they're
bills.
powerful, Mike. I mean, they're very powerful. You know that.
Yeah.
And I think that's I've known you for, I don't know, probably 8
Well, 8 or
years. I
10
think
years,
8
yeah.
years, yeah. And you've always said this. You've because you like in any town halls or any meetings I've been,
It's
Mike
lonely.
brings that up. The lobbyists.
But it's lonely. I need some therapy, man. Seriously. Did you hear me call Bill Ketchum out? I know Bill's listening right now. People thought I was picking on him. I said, you know what it's like to be on the front page of the paper, they're beating you up. You know what I'm talking about, Bill Ketchum, and everybody looked like, oh my God. And
Yeah.
me and Bill just laugh about it. No, they put
he
me
told
on
me to tell you.
something about some donuts.
Yeah,
or
he said you need to put that donut up. It's in your coat for
I
2
was
days.
talking about exercising, and I'm telling him about eating healthy, and I said, "Man, I got a donut in my hand. I shouldn't be doing this," But no, it can really devastate you because I was on. They put me on the front page, painted me as a Islamophobic and a homophobic, and they should have put arachnophobic. You know what that is, don't you?
Yeah, it's a spider.
I'm scared of spiders too, brother. But the day of election. But here's what is so cool. I knew what they were doing. This was like May. Metro's flying the gay pride flag on Metro light poles. I don't think it's right.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fly the state flag or the American flag. But I don't think that's right. And so I just put on Facebook that our forefathers be doing somersaults in their grave. And they waited till August the 1st. I think the primary is the 2nd. So they waited. And I knew what the report, it's like the Lord just gives you a premonition. So I emailed him back and I said, Dr. King once said, our lives begin to end when we become silent about things that matter. I said, go read Genesis 50, verse 20. Genesis 50, verse 20 is where Joseph, who had dreams, said, what you meant for evil, God meant it for good. I jumped 20 percentage points, and I can prove it. Because the polling was at 58, and I come back almost 80. I mean, a whole smear campaign, but give God the glory for it. It lifted me up. It helped me. But I've been through that, man. My wife was crying when I got in that fight with Ernest Burgess over the PCC, private probation company. They were, it was a smear campaign. My wife was crying, and my youngest son, and I'll tell you straight up, I mean, he may be listening, he may not be saying it. He got arrested that time. It was for drinking. My wife was crying. I mean, you talk about being lonely and out. And I told my wife, I said, I'm not worried about this. I said, God's going to fight this battle. I said, and I started naming battles like David. David had to fight a lion, fight a bear. And that's what's so cool about David. Go study his life. And what was interesting, 3 days later, a judge released 16 inmates, and they got sued for $14.3 million. And the same reporter that put me in the front, I think it was really his editor, he said, Mike, God's using you, brother. I've watched you. He said, if it wasn't for you, they'd still be doing this kind of stuff. And let me tell you how bad this stuff was. Sally Walls, who I considered a mentor, the first female police chief in the state of Tennessee, she called me up about this stuff. She said, Mike, I gave this group $1,000 for my grandson's probation. She said, and she just didn't think about getting a receipt. The dude pocketed the money. Some guy named Sean. I wish I had his last name. Somebody text me, tell me what his last name is. Seriously, I heard he moved to North Carolina or something. But that lady was my mentor. You know, I watched her, and I didn't know how to fight it. But, you know, nothing against the previous mayor before you. But, you know, he turned a blind eye, and the taxpayers were on the hook. Where was the lobbyists at? Where were the judges? Where are all these advocates? $14.3 million, and you violated people's civil rights? Talk about being lonely. But, see, that's where God does his best work, is when you're lonely, when you're down and out. And, you know, you've been so passionate about the drug problem, and you've led on that, and I appreciate that, you know, and look how many people that you and others that have rallied with you have potentially saved many people's lives or are doing it, you know, when the suicide the rates are down.
You know, I get probably 90% of the credit, but, you know, here's the way I look at it. Nobody listened to me in 2018, so I ran for office. And then I remember I got elected. Bill Ketron, you know, he said, hey, what can I do for you? And I said, I need money and I need a task force. And he gave me both. And, you know, I had a blueprint. Awareness, education, and recovery. That has always been my blueprint. I've never, ever came off of that. And so we started on awareness. And we did a lawsuit. Yeah. And, you know, everybody's suing all the pharmaceutical companies, Mike, including the state of Tennessee. But we said we don't want somebody to tell us what to do with money. We want to have that, you know. So we went in and sued them by ourselves. And when we did that, you know, that's risky. But we won, and we get $575,000 a year for the next 18 years. And then state of Tennessee sued and won, and they give us $1 million, about $1 million a year. And we've given out over $2.4 million, I think, maybe less than that. But so we did awareness, man. I've put billboards, direct mail, videos, social media. I did everything. I just flooded. And that started working. And then education, and this is the one I'm proud of. I had an education program I wanted to teach. It's comprehensive. It's not nowhere like DARE and all those other ones, which I thought were watered down. So I really pushed hard on this, and the school superintendent said, I'll give you a pilot program of 3 schools, 300 and I think 86 or 96 kids. So we got that, and then you talk about God, COVID hits. So all that momentum I had is gone. Nobody cares about anything but COVID. So I had to start all the way over again. So I did. And finally we got in the schools. It was a success. And next year we went from 396 kids. We're going to be teaching that program to 42,000 kids.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's amazing. And then when you talk about recovery, you know, we worked with the sheriff's department. We worked with the 18 different organizations. And I mean, you can't deny we're doing some good things, Mike, with the numbers. I mean, our deaths went from, you know, 140 in 2021 to 65 in 2025. And overdoses are down 53%. I mean, Tennessee is nowhere near it. And Tennessee, or the state, is telling all the other 94 counties, if you want to do this right, do what Rutherford's doing. And we're the state, you know, we're standard barrier.
I appreciate y'all help my friends over at Hustle Recovery.
Man,
Troy.
you know, that's a great story. And if I got time to tell that story,
ahead.
man, this is a great story. So they come to me and they want to do something that's called respite housing. And it is where people want to go to a rehab facility, but there's no beds. So usually those people either relapse or die, you know, or go back and, you know, where they are. So they had this great idea. Hey, we can hold them 96 hours, and then we'll monitor them, and then we'll give them a ride to the bed when it opens up, or the rehab. Great idea. You know, great idea. So I was like, I'm in. Well, then I find out Troy is on probation for being dealing drugs. And y'all don't know me, but ain't nothing in this world despises me more than a drug dealer. And so I'm out. You know, I mean, he asked for $200,000. I just couldn't see me doing this. So we get to the meeting of the board, and he already got to the board, so we had to vote yes or no on him, all right? So we get there, and I'm just praying, like, what do I do? You know, because the idea is so good. But then I couldn't get past him. So he said, can I speak? And I said, yeah. And he spoke, and it was moving. He cried. It was moving. And so sure enough, the vote was 3-3, and I'm the tiebreaker. You know, and I'm sitting here, what's the odds of that? And I'm sitting there praying, man. I'm just praying. And I said, you know what? And it just told me, God just told me, he said, hey, give this guy a shot.
Yep.
So I gave him a shot, but I was real strict on him. I mean, I watched
Yeah.
him I was really strict on him. And anyway, this story, he got a grant from the state of Tennessee for $8 million to do
Wow.
that respite housing. Is that? I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of that guy, man. I mean, I really am.
But you know what's cool when you look at guys that have been there. I mean, I've never went to jail. I probably could have went to jail just when I was a kid, just didn't get caught. But I had Sally Walls, who was my mentor and kind of looked out for me and a lot of young guys in the neighborhood. But people that have felt pain, that's a motivator. I mean, you felt pain, because that's why you care about these things, obviously.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have a personal relationship, and I've helped a lot of people. And the thing about addiction is, as a parent,
Yeah.
and as a family member, or uncle, aunt, or any of that, when you see someone on drugs, the best way I describe it is, you're looking at a child that is burning fire. I mean, on fire. And in one hand you got an extinguisher, and on the other hand you got a water hose, and they don't want your help.
Yep.
They don't want your help, and it's heartbreaking.
Yep.
You got everything you need, to help them, but they don't want your help.
Yeah.
Addiction is so powerful, man. It is so powerful.
I probably shared with you, I lost a brother 4 years ago, and I always figured I'd get a call. We got a call about midnight, and wife answered. Doctor said, asked if that was our brother. And I'm like, yeah. And I driving up there, and she wanted to go. I didn't want her to go. I didn't want her to have any kind of problems, but seeing him. And I remember asking in the ER, I seen his hands were real dark, like he'd been working on a car, changing oil. And the doctor said, no, that's what happens. You lose your blood there. But my other brother was the top FBI agent in the nation. I mean, how do you have that? How do you have one brother that is the top agent? And I shouldn't even talk. He'll be mad if you heard me talk about it on the radio. But another brother had a drug problem. How does that happen to a family?
I really think it. I'm not an expert, but it's environment.
Yeah.
I think it's, the type of friends you keep, and, there's a lot of people that struggle with mental illness, and, there's a lot of things that with addiction, but also pain.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, people handle pain in different ways.
They do.
I am motivated by pain. I am motivated by challenges. I mean, I've always been motivated. I've always been successful because sometimes there's pain.
Well, how do you
get it.
decompress? I mean, I ask people this at the Capitol, ask a lot of different folks. How do you chill from a stressful, day? I mean, what do you do? What do you do?
I mean, I
relax?
struggle with it, Mike. I mean, it's not something I got some, I got family, a lot of support, but yeah, I carry some stuff with me. It gets heavy, and I can't sit here and tell you I'm some expert on it. I have a farm in Mont Eagle, and I got a cabin
your
down
wife's
there.
Obviously supportive.
Couldn't do it without Susie.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely could not do it. I mean, she didn't sign up for this, man. And sometimes she tells me, I ain't one of your boaters. She goes, you better. She goes, the way you're acting right now, you better be glad I'm not. But it's just she grounds me, and she's. I mean, you got a good woman. I got a good woman, and she's.
Did you pray about it before you met your wife?
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
I was lost, but don't get me wrong. I wasn't lost. Like I just wasn't. I didn't have a relationship with God, and then me and Susie divorced in 2009, and that's when I hit.
Yeah.
Because I was so focused on business. All I cared about was
Yep.
doing this business, getting it going, and all that stuff. And then you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not giving attention to the ones you care the most about, and then luckily we got back together.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily we've been happily married for the last 14 years, and I'm blessed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, brother, I'm blessed. I can't sit here, I'm embarrassed to tell you if I ever complain about something, Mike. I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I have no reason to complain
Well,
about
let me
anything.
ask you. I think going back on relationships. I mean, kind of, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything, but what's your kind of plan to kind of build those relationships? With others. I mean, if you win this election.
Well, if you want respect, learn how to give it.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing I'm going to do is, here's the thing: 90% of all the problems are communication.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so people don't communicate.
Yeah.
And if you don't communicate with someone, but especially if you don't listen, and the problem with a lot of people, they hear, but do they listen?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you something. I listen. You can't nobody ever say I listen to every single thing everybody says, and that's what makes me an effective leader because, my enemies, I know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
Because I listen to them, and then I can solve problems because I just listen. People want to be respected.
Yeah.
Mike, one of your biggest frustrations is you think people don't listen to you,
Yeah.
and you get frustrated on that.
Because it's common sense.
But it frustrates you, right? And if
Well,
somebody
yeah.
listens to you, you
Yeah.
respect them and you treat them.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like I said at the chamber. Was you at the last chamber meeting?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Because what I was saying is it's the same old rhetoric we're hearing. When I was on this bill that you're concerned about, I ran that bill years ago, but my bill said you shouldn't raise tax over 25% without a public referendum. I got it out, and I got to give Joe credit. Joe was chairman of local. Joe helped me get it out of a sub, and man, you talk about people all upset, and they're like, "Oh, you're going to ruin our bond rating." I'm like, man, if you like other people, it's funny because other people said if you got to raise tax over 25% 1 year, your bond rating is probably already affected, and they threw such a fit over that bill. But here's what I'm saying: leverage other people's time, and the chamber needs to be more involved. You got some bright people in this community. Mark Lewis. Mark probably don't want to run for office, but Mark is somebody who is it Bradley? I think a lot of that guy. There's other people out there. Put a task force together. Say, hey man, here's a problem we got. What else can we do to build a better jail? Maybe part of that jail is a sub halfway house or something that's a minor security, but it's got classes for addiction treatment, helping people find a job, because it's expensive to incarcerate. It's $30,000 incarcerate an adult. It's about $150,000 incarcerate juvenile.
Yeah,
that's why that gun
crazy.
safe bill mattered to me so much, because if that guy would have had that gun locked up, them kids that killed Kyle Yorlet, that's cost the taxpayers $1 million right there. $1 million.
I mean, when it comes to the jail, we should eliminate every single possibility.
Yeah.
Every single option we should discuss. Private, shipping prisoners out, building the certain way you're talking about. I mean, every option should be talked about.
Well, look at Men of Valor. Men of Valor's got a good template. They're turning men's lives around. It's a proven success record. Yeah, we spend about $1 million helping them, but $1 million that's changing and investing in men's lives, keeping them from going back into prison. We're going to have to build a new state prison.
Yeah, we got a lot of prisoners now from state.
To relieve y'all.
Yeah.
I brought it up in committee, got some attention, but my leader echoed my comments. He's like, you know what? We're probably going to have to build a new state prison. I asked the TDOC commission, I mentioned this on the radio about a month ago, and nothing against the guy, a nice fella, and I said, how much a new state prison will cost us? He's like, he didn't have an answer. I'm thinking, man, you're the commissioner, you don't have an answer? But I've seen that in government, where you ask somebody, you think, well, this guy should have the answer, and they don't have the answer.
I mean, think about it. Our debt right now is $500 million. Right now. We got a high school we got to build, and we got a jail we got to build. Going to double our debt. We're going to be over $1 billion in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't see that. I am a CEO. I'm a business guy. We don't need a politician. We don't need a nice guy. We need somebody that knows business, somebody that knows how to run economic development and deal with these things. And that's what I bring. I've been on budget, and I've been dealing with the budget. I know everything about the budget and how it is here, and and it scares me.
Yeah.
I mean, a
I'm
$500
worried
million jail. I mean, that's crazy.
When I look at my grandbabies and I'm thinking, what's traffic going to be like in Nashville? Can they afford a home? I'm thinking about jumping up my life insurance and posting them down on it and making sure that they're taken care of if something happens to us. Look at the drug problem. Look at that guy ran from the law day, killed that young lady, and right there at Laverne on the county line. That area right there, I brought it up to TDOC, to THP. You can't get Metro Police on the phone. And if people don't believe me, call 862-8600. You're going to be put on hold. They're going to have you press 1 for Spanish, 2 for English, and it's ridiculous. A guy passed me today doing about 90 on the interstate. I called Metro. By the time they got to me, I said, look, I was at Haywood Lane. I said, this dude's in Murfreesboro by now. I mean, it's too late. And I just told him, I said, man, I get so frustrated with y'all. That's why the Tennessee, we've upped the budget for troopers. We got more troopers out there. The troopers ain't playing around. And Smyrna don't play around. Smyrna is so tough on crime. They're writing tickets in Laverne. I was going to that spaghetti. Did you see them on the side of the road? Hey, they had people pulled over in Laverne. Smyrna's writing tickets. Did you see that?
Yeah. They,
Jesus, man.
they don't play around. I'm
No,
telling
they
I mean,
don't.
you know, Sheriff's Department and Murfreesboro City Police. I mean,
And Laverne's tight.
yeah, Laverne.
You
I
ever
mean,
get
we got
pulled-
a county. We
you ever get
really
pulled
got some
over?
good cities.
You ever get pulled over?
Yeah, I've been pulled over by Murfreesboro City Police a few times.
One night
I felt like they were after me there for a while.
I was arguing with Truman Jones, the sheriff, one night at public safety. I'm leaving. I'm going home, and I had a dually at the time. And all of a sudden, here come a deputy. I was like, oh my God, they're retaliating. And he was really nice. My trailer light was out, and he just fixed me. Well, I got Craig. You're welcome to hear this. I want you to hear this. This part of the legislation that we passed this week. I know you've got to cut out, but if you want to hang out, you're welcome to it. But this is, I know it's something you'd be passionate about. But if you got to cut out, feel free to take off. And I've got Avery Kelleher. Avery, how you doing? Avery, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
How you doing? Good, sir. Thanks for calling in. You know, you were on the radio with us a few months ago about the loss of your daughter, and this week, you know, we passed the legislation honoring your daughter, and it looks like, you know, you and the Jason Foundation Director Clark Flatt had some good conversation and got to meet, and, you know, Democrats as well as Republicans stood with us on the House floor this week. But tell listeners about what you kind of went through and what you're doing now to help other students.
Well, on September 11th this past year, so roughly 6 months, I had found my daughter had hung herself. The only thing we can deduce is she went down a rabbit hole on TikTok.
Yes.
Hundreds of depressional posts, and then a post that actually read, "I'll be hallucinating while the rope tightens around my neck" on September 12th.
Yes. Yes.
And we think that was the pivot that got her to do this, because
Yes.
she was always, you know, blue-eyed, blonde-haired, ready to go, ready
Yeah.
to jump in and have fun with everything. She was planning for college in the big cities. Don't know which one, but she was looking everywhere. She loved Nashville, but she had her alarm set for the next day. She ate, she cleaned up.
Wow.
She had, we had plans to go get her permit that following Tuesday. So like I said, this was literally out of
Yes.
the blue.
Yes.
And
yes.
the fact that God has partnered you and our ministry together, and then the Jason Foundation is just
Amen.
an honor, because it wasn't many hours after the shock that has rocked our family for life now.
Yeah.
The Lord had spoke and said that we were to confront bullying, mental health, and suicide head
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And that we would reach 1 million people.
Amen.
And, you know, when you look at that in our perspective, we're like, oh, man, 1 million, I can never do that. Well, you're right.
Yeah. How many you reckon you reached? Was it Thursday morning? Where were you up? Thursday morning or Wednesday morning?
Tuesday
Tuesday morning.
afternoon.
Okay. How many folks you think you reached there?
Cumulatively, since in the 6 months, I believe we've reached just over 100.
Yep.
And the staggering thing with that is, you know, at every time we're having discussions and teaching on the subject, but we're also asking, what's your opinion? How do you feel? What's life look like for you?
Yeah.
And when we're seeing roughly 30 to 40% on the high of children raising their hands saying they don't feel loved, they don't feel hope, they don't, you know, they have a dim outlook on their future, they don't even know what tomorrow looks like, that's alarming.
Yeah.
We've had kids share with us that, you know, the pressure that we put on our kids is devastating. But, you know, we have to also talk that we as parents, we've got to push them.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
But
well,
in the same sense, these kids also, we have to also take aware of the society that the children are in now.
yes, exactly.
It's
Well, you know,
society.
well, that resolution, I wish we had enough time to read it on the air. You know, I took that resolution and tied it into the Anxious Generation book by Jonathan Haidt to kind of put that out there. And then and I was asking my assistant, you know, when I go to talk about this, do I mention, you know, exactly the details of what happened with your daughter? And my assistant goes, man, I don't think I'd do that. It's kind of jolting. And I said, but that's what I want. I want the audience to be like, whoa. And if you look, did you notice every person in there was paying attention. You couldn't hear.
They were glued. Yeah.
You couldn't hear if you dropped a pin. The speaker probably would have looked over, like, who dropped that pen?
Right.
You know, I don't know if you've seen the guy beside me, William Lambert, or besides you to your left, and Johnny Garrett. You know, Johnny's running for Congress. I think he got pretty choked up. He's got a daughter that I think is 14.
That's actually what he said. He said that in this day and age, with his 14-year-old daughter, he's you know, his alarms are on high, and he's not sure what to do and how to watch and how to not intrude, but yet be aware.
Well, you got everybody's attention, and Clark Flatt, that's the first time I've got to meet Clark, and what was cool, he come to my office about a month or 6 weeks ago, and he said, man, he said, I just left the governor just now, and he said, the governor asked me, did any representatives ever call you? You know, he says, well, it just so happens Sparks called me, and that's where I'm going right now. I'm going to his office. And now
awesome.
Somebody come out, I think it was Lambert that told Clark that we need to make sure this is recurring funding for them. I think that's what he was saying.
Yes.
You know, because right now it's just year to year. It's not really recurring. But no, I think people need. You said hope. Hope is a real thing, and we've got this men's group that Roger comes out. We got a lot of folks come out, and it's called Men of Hope, Hope Fellowship. In fact, my mentor paid that church off when he passed in his will, and it's a different congregation now. But I think people need to be connected. You know, somehow, and loneliness is a serious problem.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, out there.
Just, you know, I know there's resources out there, but in the time and the suddenness and the shock of it all, we had no idea what to do. Obviously, we hunkered down in the grief, but then it was like, well, I want to honor her. What do we do? How do we stop others from ever having to experience this?
Yes.
And that's where We Live for Riv has come into existence. And we're, like I said, 6 months in, had the pleasure of partnering with you and honored, to say the least, for this resolution that you partnered with us on. And just, you know, to think 6 months we'd be standing on the Senate or on the House floor sharing.
Well, that's a God thing right there, because
exactly
because you know, I was thinking, I kept talking to my assistant and other people, like, man, how can we put this together to where we just bring everybody together, and I was going to have you go to committee, but then I had other bills I agreed to carry for people, and I didn't have enough slots, but it really worked itself out, you know. And I think now there's a guy that reached out to me the other day about a group that maybe you could get tied up with. Ron Alley was talking about a group called Wired Human. We're going to try to have them on the show here the next few weeks. I think they're meeting with the school system, Rutherford County. It's about you know, the rise in social media and you know, suicide and depression and those areas. I think it's also kind of student led, if I'm not mistaken. But if Ron's listening, maybe he can text me the number. But I'll text you Ron's number right now and reach out to him for that contact, and maybe that could be a potential partner with you on this. And I know. Well, how are you doing health wise? I know you've had some setbacks.
Yeah.
Well, any listeners got an extra kidney they want to share, I'd be glad to take it.
Bless your heart. Well, you're on dialysis 3 days a week, aren't you?
Yeah, this is my fourth time, and it's strenuous on the body. But
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Got a mission and got the prayers, especially, you know, let me just speak volumes on Mike. The first time we ever met, and he grabbed me and he prayed. And spirit-led, faith-filled prayer.
Well, I've seen
with this man.
Hey, I've seen miracles happen, brother. So let's be praying for a kidney, okay?
Amen.
All right. Well, I'll catch up with you, man.
All right. Thank you very
Avery.
much.
We'll see
Take
you.
care, Avery.
All right.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Craig Harris, and thank you, Jeremy, for filling in. You'll see y'all next week.